Que pasa to the pack? It is Pack here.
AKA your mama's best friend, your daddy's worst nightmare.
The roster update for NBA 2K23 comes out in 2 days. It's the second one of the year. And what I like to do is a couple days before, I always like to go over the teams that I think need major changes. I only talk about the ones that I think are absolutely major. Like, there's changes I think should happen, but like only the absolute big changes, either upgrades or downgrades, is what I'm going to talk about in today's video. If you like that kind of content when it comes to ratings and players, please run the pack and subscribe. I do it every single day. And let's get in, man. So, the Philadelphia 76ers, the only player that deserves to be talking about is Joel Embiid. He's going off lately. He is averaging 37 points in the last 5 games. By the way, if I talk about stats, remember that everything I'm going to say is the last 5 games because that's the 2 weeks period between a new roster update. So that's what I'm covering. So 37 points in the last 5 games, which is insanity, right? I think he's going to be +1. And he's starting to turn into a MVP candidate, which would put him at a 97, right? But I think 96 would be good for him to start it off. And then if it keeps continuing, then you put him at a 97. But remember, this is without James Harden. So he's kind of taking the stats that James Harden would have and replacing it. But still, for the Milwaukee Bucks, it has to be Javon Carter. All the way down here. He's only a 72 overall. He's been averaging 17 points per game on 51% from the field and starting multiple games. Now, he's been doing this because of injuries from the Milwaukee Bucks. He's getting serious minutes. You can't have him as the 10th or 11th best player on the team when he's been one of the best. So, to me, I think you start him off at a +3 to a 75 overall, and I wouldn't be shocked if it goes even higher throughout the year. But +3 for him for sure, because he's been, 17 points per game on 50% from the field is really damn good for a guy's a 72 overall. Like, that's a huge difference. Another example, if I don't mention your NBA team, is because I don't feel like there's a player that needs a changing, either upgrade or a downgrade. So for the Boston Celtics, I was saying that Sam Hauser is only a 71 overall, but he's averaging 11 points in 21 minutes. He's hitting hella threes. He is a sniper for this team, has been a really important player for the team. To me, if you have Peyton Pritchard at a 75, I think Sam needs to be at a 75. I would have him, +4, because he's been integral to this team. He's actually getting minutes, using those minutes correctly, and doing his job really well. I mean, anybody that's a good role player is going to be in the 75 overall club. To me, that's a no-brainer. I mean, that's like a non-debate for me. Sam Hauser needs to get respected here. For the Atlanta Hawks, let's start with DeJounte Murray. I think he should go +1. So DeJounte's averaging 8 assists on only 2 turnovers a game in the last 5 games. He's also the second leading scorer on the team. He's been an elite defender, as he has been since came into the NBA. I didn't think he would work with the Atlanta Hawks, but yet the Atlanta Hawks are succeeding with him as the second best player. It's very impressive. He deserves an 87 overall. He honestly maybe even higher, but we'll start it at 87 just to be happy. That's what I'm expecting. And then DeAndre Hunter. So I think it's weird for DeAndre Hunter to not at least be the 4th best player or 5th best player on the team. He's been that guy. He's averaging 15 points per game, and he's been the best defender on the team. I mean, to me, that's an 80 overall player, but we'll put him at a 79 and probably downgrade John Collins to make it a little more even, because DeAndre Hunter, ever since the playoffs last season, has shown that he is a legit player for this team, and he's kind of showing that growth happening this year. It's exciting for him. For the Miami Heat, to me, Max Struss has been someone that's consistently been good for the Miami Heat and has little phases, but these past 5 games, 17 points per game. He needs to go up to a 78, I'd argue. He's an important player. He gets minutes. He does well with his minutes, and he scores efficiently. You can't complain about him. For the Charlotte Hornets, Kelly Oubre Jr. So Kelly Oubre, you know that situation with Charlotte. They haven't had LaMelo Ball, Miles Bridges. It's been a weird year for the team, but Kelly Oubre has been taking advantage. 21 points per game. He's been decent. He's been showing his worth. I think he's an 80 overall, in my personal opinion. I mean, we saw him as averaging 19 points per game in Phoenix last year. I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again with Charlotte in 2023. For the Utah Jazz, I think this entire team needs to be shaken up because the ratings are wrong, right? Lauri Markkanen, I think, needs to go +2 to an 84 overall. I think that would look so much better, and he's been the best player on the team. And the big thing is, he was averaging 21 points per game, which is good, but if it's inefficient, it's not a big deal. But these past 5 games, he's been doing very well efficiency-wise. That's why I believe he needs to go up to an 84. Jordan Clarkson needs to go +4 to an 81 overall, making him the second best player on the team. Dude's averaging 20 points per game, consistently. You can't have him he's the second best player on the Jazz right now. And then Malik Beasley has been essential for this team, 15 points per game. I'd make him a 78 overall, straight up. For the Sacramento Kings, I'm going to say De'Aaron Fox to an 87, so +2. He's been lethal for this team. You know, the Kings have a low-key shot of making the play-in game. It'd be hard, but like Sabonis is playing well again. De'Aaron Fox, 87 overall, and if you can get Keegan Murray to start picking it up throughout the year, and Malik Monk's been scoring well, who knows, man? This is not a bad team whatsoever. For the New York Knicks, Julius Randle needs to go up +2. He is at least tied as the best player on this team. He's been the only consistent player really in terms of scoring. He's averaging like 25 in the last 5 games. To me, it's just, yeah. I mean, 84 at least for the Knicks. He has to be. For the Los Angeles Lakers, a couple of players need to go up and down. So Anthony Davis +2. He's been the best player in the last 5 games. Well, LeBron hasn't been playing really, but Anthony Davis has been showing like he's realizing who he is. When he goes under the basket and plays his game, he does so well. And then the Lakers are starting to realize that, and they're starting to get a couple wins here and there. Who knows, right? LeBron James, I think, needs to go down 1. I see a clear decline in his game. You know, injury issues. The defense is not there. He's lackluster. The shot selection has not been good for LeBron. I think at least -1 for LeBron. It's still 95 overall, but I need to see AD and LeBron be a little closer rating wise. I think Russell Westbrook needs to go +6. He's been averaging, I believe it was like 18 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds on like 55% from the field in the last 5 games. Something crazy like that. And he's been the best 3-point shooter on the team. Isn't that wild? Yeah, Russell Westbrook has to go. He needs to be the 3rd best player on this team easily, by far. And then Lonnie Walker needs to go +4. He's averaging 19 points per game in the last 5 games on an extreme efficiency. I mean, this entire team's ratings are just wrong. We go to the Dallas Mavericks. So I think Spencer Dinwiddie needs to go at least +2. He's been the 2nd leading scorer on the team. He's averaging, I believe, 20 in the last 5 games. He's been very good. So, you know, the Mavericks are going to need Christian Wood and Dinwiddie to play extremely well if they ever want a chance to win a championship. And Dinwiddie's kind of stepping up. For the Denver Nuggets. So I have Michael Porter Jr. +2. This is one of the best teams in the NBA. And the ratings aren't really showing that. Michael Porter Jr. is a consistent 19 to 20 point per game scorer on good efficiency. Obviously, if he can stay healthy. But yeah, I mean, Jokic is slowed down scoring wise because Michael Porter Jr. has been stepping up. And I think even another player, Bones Highland, you know, he has to go up at least 2. He's averaging 17 points per game on 23 minutes per game in the last 5 games. That is absurd statistics. Like, he's been good. I've talked about him a good amount before. I can just tell he's gonna be a good player. I've talked to him before, IRL. You can tell he wants to be good, and you're seeing it here in the NBA. For the Pelicans, this might be a little exaggerative, but I'm going to say Zion Williamson +3. So this team, even though they're supposed to be great on paper, has been very inconsistent. Everyone's had good and bad games. The only person I think has been pretty consistent is Zion. He, in the past 5 games, 26 points per game on 64% from the field, gentlemen. That's disgusting numbers. That's video game numbers. Only he's doing that in the NBA right now at that efficiency. He's +3, 90 overall. There is no world where Zion Williamson should ever be below a 90. He's just talent-wise, he's a 90 straight up. And the first downgrade of the video, besides LeBron, CJ McCollum. He's been very, very bad these past couple games. I'm saying -3. I know it's a pretty big downgrade, but he has just not found it just yet. And they're going to need him to find it because this team has a chance to be very good, but it doesn't happen if CJ McCollum's struggling. For the Raptors, I'm going to say OG Anunoby. He needs to go +2. He has been, first of all, a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, straight up, while also averaging, I think, 19 in the last 5 games on good efficiency. I mean, that's one of the best players on the Raptors. Now, Pascal's been hurt, so it all depends. And then I'd argue Scotty Barnes needs to go down a little bit. But besides that, OG at the moment, as of today, is the 2nd best player on the Raptors behind Siakam. To me, that's what I've noticed. For the Rockets, Jalen Green +2. Is that a surprise? When you're a top 3 pick, you're always expected to be very good, and he's showing it. He's on a very bad team. It's letting him, I mean, he has the green light for sure. I think he's averaging 24 points per game right now. So 84 overall for him easily, I think, non-debate. And I'd argue Sengun needs to go +1 to an 80 overall. He has been the 2nd best player on this team easily. Now for the Spurs, I think Devin Vassell needs to go +2. Now, there's no surprise that the Spurs aren't going to be good this season. There's no surprise there. That being said, Vassell has been very good already. He's hitting shots. He's actually a decent defender. He's surprising that I always thought he was only a 3-point shooter, but he came into the league surprising me, hitting middies, driving to the lane. It's impressive. Keldon Johnson and Vassell are going to be very good future pieces, and who knows who we get in the draft. Hopefully Wembanyama, right? Or Wemby, whatever his name is. But Vassell's in the 80 overall club already. 81 overall. Obviously a good shooter. Obviously, I mean, he's only 22 years old doing what he's doing. There's no surprise. he's going to be good. A pretty exciting one for the Blazers. They have a lot of changes. I'll start with Simons. Anthony Simons, we've been talking about since last year. You know, we said he needed to be in the 80 overall club, and I would argue even more. Because the thing is, before we were saying Anthony Simons was putting up great numbers because there was no Dame. Well, now Dame's back, and Anthony Simons is still averaging 24 points per game on good efficiency. You know, CJ McCollum was getting an 87 overall for those kind of numbers. I'm not saying he's going to be an 87 overall, but you start slow. I say give him a +2 to an 82 overall as the third best player, because he is the third best player in my personal opinion. And then Jeremy Grant, I'm going to say, this might be a little exaggerative, but I'm going to say +4 to an 86. Maybe even need to beat an 87. It's funny, Jeremy Grant was another player that we were saying, oh, he's only good because he was on a bad team, like, you know, with the Pistons. On the Pistons, he was averaging 22 points per game. We all thought, oh, there's no way he could do that, like, on a real team. The thing is, it's the opposite. Now that Damian Lillard is, you know, their best player, and Anthony Simons are their best scorers, like getting buckets, it alleviates the pressure on Jeremy Grant. He's not getting double teamed anymore like he was on the Pistons. And now he's doing very, very well. He's averaging the most points on the team in the last 5 games. He's the most efficient player on the team in the last 5 games. And I mean, he's a good rebounder. He can play defense. I mean, what do you want me to say? 86 overall to start, and I wouldn't be surprised if it goes up even higher throughout the year. He has been magnificent. In fact, the Blazers are kind of an underrated team right now and are looking way better than we thought. It's weird because I was kind of hesitant with the Blazers because at first I was like, well, Dame's always going to need like 2 other guys. Like how we see is like Giannis, right? Giannis is a great player, and he has 2 other pieces with Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday to fit what he doesn't have, right? With Dame, when he came into this team, when he came back to the team now that he's healthy, I was like, is this, you know, does this fit what he needs? Nurkic, I wouldn't call an amazing defender. Simons is basically just CJ McCollum again, which is just getting in the way of what Dame does. And Jeremy Grant was slowing down last season. He was averaging 19 on bad efficiency for a power forward. So I was just like, is this enough? Josh Hart's okay, in my opinion. I was like, is this enough to win a championship? I really didn't think so, but Jeremy Grant has stepped up. Dame is as good as he's ever been. Nurkic is playing well. Simons has somehow got better than last year while Dame on the court. And Josh Hart's playing well. I'm not saying they're going to win a championship, but like their odds of winning one has increased a significant amount. I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing with the Blazers, and Jeremy Grant to really start that off. It's impressive. And the final one is Steph Curry. You know, the Warriors have been kind of bad. Now, it's early in the year. Let's not overreact. Andrew Wiggins has been okay. Klay Thompson's been suspect. Draymond's had been slowing down for the past couple years now. Poole has not been playing as good as he used to. You know, Kuminga and Wiseman are kind of vanishing. Like, what's going on with this team? But you cannot say anything about Steph Curry. He's averaging 35 points per game on 61% from the field in the last 5 games. I argue that Curry needs to be tied as the best player in the NBA right now. He is an MVP conversation. 97 overall, straight up for Curry, +1 for him. You can't even say anything. Is it really weird to say Curry, the greatest point guard of all time, or at least the second greatest point guard of all time behind Magic, should be at 97 overall while still playing more or less in his prime? Not a surprise. I have Curry as a 97 overall, as the best player in the NBA tied. What do you guys think? Leave it in the comments below. And if you like this channel, please give it a sub. I'll see you guys next time.